Right, you ready?
Probably. As ready as I'm going to be. Stop it.
Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. No, I can't do it when you're giggling. This is going to be an interesting one to edit. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon of Savage Reads and today is the video you've all been waiting for because my mum is here. I know, can you believe it?
Hello.
She's like a younger sister. That's what she says. So we're going to be going through some books from my bookshelves that mum has read, wants to read or might troll me with. Some of you, I think, will have met my mum at various events where she's been and said hello. Stalking. But also, hopefully, we're going to be doing some videos later in the year on the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. Possibly the long list if I can bribe her enough. So, Mum, which book have you got first? I feel like I need to see this.
Do you want me to hold it up to the...
Yes. Oh, she's look at it. Yeah, don't cover your face. It's more like a...
Oh, there we go. Ta-da!
Hot Milk by Deborah Levy.
Indeed.
So this one is about a mother and daughter relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's about a mother who thinks she can't... Oh no, I don't...
Careful, because you might give... Don't do any spoilers, Simon. No spoilers.
This is going to be the video where everyone just sees me getting told off and do this more and more as it goes on. No, Mum, I won't say anything. Sorry, Mum, tell us about the book.
Well, I absolutely love this book, and it's one of those books that grows on you as you're reading it, I think. And one of those books that stays with you for ages after you've finished reading it. There were lots of images in it that sort of stayed in my head. Did
you like it because there's Medusa's references?
I loved the references to the Medusas, actually. I thought they were a really interesting symbol all the way through the book. Sort of motif that ran through, and actually it's only at the end that you really realise the significance of them.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I loved the fact that it was set in Greece and the heat. Well, it moved to Greece at one point.
It's Spain and Greece, isn't it?
It's Spain and Greece, yes.
But
it's Mediterranean.
But she plays with where you are because she throws you because you feel like because you're listening to there's Greek elements in it.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in Greece, but you're not.
No.
But she plays with that the whole way through. And actually, what's really interesting with this book as well is that since the B word that we don't like to mention, this almost kind of predicted some of the stuff that was going on, which I thought was very clever.
So it's got there's a element of politics to it.
Yeah.
It's not a political novel.
There's politics around pharmaceuticals and all sorts, which is very apt.
Yes.
Right now.
And there's a lot about illness and the perception of illness and how much of it is real and how much of it is psychological.
Yeah, I was going to say mental illness and physical illness.
Yeah. And the mother-daughter relationship's really fascinating, and the characters develop and change. And there's also a kind of mystery element to it as well. It's a novel about all sorts of things, because actually, in some ways, more than anything, it's a novel about place, but it's also a novel about identity as well.
But it's also about where your place is within all of those things.
Yes.
See, it's a good book.
It is. It's really, really meaty, and I think I just thought it was a work of genius, actually. It's
Have you read anything else by her?
No, I haven't, but I want to now.
Well, we're going on holiday later this year. I'm going to start bragging about it now.
Together? We're going
we
together.
are, but you should read Swimming Home, which is where a group of people are on holiday together and they wake up and there's this naked woman swimming in their pool.
Ooh.
And she just ingratiates herself slowly but surely. It's really, really good. I'm a big, big, big Deborah Levy fan. I haven't read her non-fiction. I really want to. So that's book number 1.
That is book number 1. Right.
Book number 2.
Wow. Book number 2 is Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks.
She's got a glare on it. Year of Wonder by Geraldine Brooks.
Okay.
This is set down the road from where we're from.
Yes. So you might guess why I chose it.
Because of the nostalgia?
Yes. But also because...
you like her as a writer as well?
I really like Geraldine Brooks as a writer. I think this is was her first work of fiction. I could be wrong.
Was it?
I think it was. Might be wrong about that. But it's certainly the first of her novels that I read. And I love the way she writes. It's simple and it's clever.
We should say what it's about, shouldn't we?
Yeah, well, I was really nervous when I read it because when I was a child at primary school, we did a massive topic about the plague at Eyam in Derbyshire.
Wasn't there a short story about it, like a patchwork of something by...
That's a children's story.
Yeah, who's it by?
I can't remember.
I should say basically it's about...
Parcel of Patterns.
That's it.
I think.
Yes, a
Something
Parcel
like
of Patterns.
that.
But it's about
That's
the
a
Great
lovely novel as
Plague,
well. Yeah.
which was mainly... Everybody always thinks it was only in London,
Yes.
but somehow it ended up coming to this small village in Derbyshire, just down the road from where we're from, and the town decided to basically self-sacrifice themselves,
Well,
didn't
it's
they?
a village.
The
yeah.
village, yeah, they cut themselves off. But what's amazing is when you go back now, they've still got the plague cottages. You've got the hall that's mentioned. It's all still there.
Yeah.
But the whole book has this, because she's not from Derbyshire.
Well, I think isn't she Australian, Geraldine Brooks?
I thought she was
or
Canadian.
American.
She's not from
British.
Derbyshire.
So, which was why I was nervous about reading it, because for me it's such a personal thing. It fascinated me as a child, the whole story of Eam, and it's quite a romantic idea, this village cutting itself off and making this sacrifice. And I was quite prepared to hate the book, because I thought nobody can quite recapture how I felt about the village as a child. But it was almost as if she'd written the story that was kind of lurking in my head.
Oh, wow.
And I just really admired her. And the other thing about her is that, you know, she was a war correspondent. And war correspondents fascinate me. I think they're really interesting people. So, you know, there's her as a person and her as a writer.
I should say all the books will be linked down below if you want to find out more, because obviously if mums love them, you're going to be chasing off to read them. And I'm amazed that has not been turned into a Sunday night big historical.
Yeah, it would make a fantastic.
So if anyone from the
really
BBC
well.
is watching, we'd like that to happen, and we'll both play wenches.
You have to have a shave. Oh, well, not necessarily. If
Not
you're middle-aged
necessarily.
wench.
Not necessarily.
I can't remember what's next now.
Oh, it's like a magical.
Ooh.
What's coming out the rabbit's hat?
Oh, yes, now.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, you can pull a face. So this is Edna O'Brien. I don't know whether you can see
Yeah, you
that. The Little Red Chairs. And I have not read this book.
You can take it with you.
But I have never read anything by Edna O'Brien. And I feel like I, not should, but I'm quite intrigued.
You can tell she doesn't watch this channel from recent conversation I've had.
I love all things Irish.
I
so
think you'll
thought-
really like this.
And also it references the Balkans on the back of here, which is another part of the world that I'm really fascinated by. So I chose it because A, I've not read anything by her, and B, because I like the idea of some sort of meeting between the Balkans and Ireland.
Well, also it's got a slightly magical-ish nature to it. I'd heard that it was so amazing and so brilliant, and I read it and I was a bit like, oh. And you only have that way.
Yeah.
You finish a book, and I love the premise because it's about a stranger arriving in a town and all the rumours around them and everything, but it just didn't quite sing to me.
Right.
But I enjoyed it, and I kept it for that reason. But you can take
See,
that
I
one
haven't
in.
got any expectations,
Oh, I had a lot.
so I
because-
may well read it differently.
But
to
also,
you.
it's one of those things where people were saying, "Oh, it's going to be one of my books a year,"
Yeah.
and it's great because I spend half my life doing
Yeah.
that. This is a book you should all read. But it was one where I think my expectation was possibly too high, because I find her fascinating when she's interviewed. Have you seen her interview?
No.
Although she is at the spit of Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, heck.
I know.
Oh, dear.
I know.
You're worrying me now.
But no, but I
Give
did
me
enjoy
nightmares.
it. But yeah, you can take that one with you.
Thank you. Oh, there you go. See, that was a good choice.
Shit, it's on purpose. Just a kick in the camera. Book 4. Ah.
Now, I was really surprised to see this on your shelf. I don't know why I was. And
Hello,
again,
Michelle Pfeiffer's in the film.
Yes, of course, that explains it. I haven't read this yet,
Okay.
but bizarrely, it's actually in my bag.
Really?
Yes, because it's the next book that I'd chosen to read. I bought it in a second-hand bookshop recently.
Have we shown them what it is?
Have we?
It's The Witches
I
of
don't think you
Eastwick,
see
sorry,
that.
by
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Updike.
And I've never read anything by John Updike.
I've
either.
read 2 Updike
Yeah,
books.
and I feel that I might.
Gran really
enjoy
liked him.
Yeah.
Because Gran liked his rabbit books, Rabbit Redux and Rabbit Run. I
Oh,
think they're
right.
called. This is nothing like the film at all. Has the same characters in it and has the same premise. It's my issue with it is, and I enjoyed it overall, and we read it for a book club that I used to be in London. I chose it because I was like, oh, it's going to be as amazing. And you know, that film, Susan Sarandon, Cher, and Michelle Pfeiffer playing witches against Jack Nicholson, it's like the dream.
Oh, it is, and
it's the
that's
dream
why I
film.
wanted to read it, because I love that film.
But the problem is, it's not the film.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that might not be a problem.
well, no, but it is when in my head I was
Oh, okay.
by accident making the characters want to do what I'd seen. And actually, one thing that I always forget about John Updike is he's a dreadful misogynist. And so what it does is it creates this... Some of the stuff you're reading just grates on you from a... Not in a writing perspective, his writing is beautiful, but it grates on you from a... It's like when you read certain books that are written at a certain time and use certain language that was more acceptable in the day, even though it shouldn't
Right,
have been.
okay.
There's
So
a
it's a
lot
bit
of views
dated.
around
There
women
is some
that
dated
are quite...
attitudes,
Yes,
yeah,
quite.
yeah.
And also, in doing that as well, what I thought was brilliant about the film is it makes the witches very powerful and they're very feminist and they're very... You know what I mean? They will not be controlled by a man. No spoilers. But in this, they're a little bit, are they witches because they're women who are, you know what I mean?
And actually, we saw the antidote to that yesterday, didn't we?
We did, we went and saw The Favourite.
Which we both really want to read now.
Yes.
This is the last one, isn't it?
It is, it's the last one. It's all over so soon.
It's going to be a ta-da moment.
She's got a rabbit.
No.
Oh no, it's what...
Gone with the wind. Because I read this.
It's Gran's favourite book as well,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was my mum's. My mum absolutely loved it, and I read this.
She would have been on this channel a lot if she was alive. She'd have been unstoppable. In fact, she'd probably have her own channel.
Actually, by now she would.
Savage reads more.
Yeah, and more.
Oh, there's some fluff on that.
Oh, fluff. So the reason I chose this is because by the time I was 15, 16, I'd read this at least twice. And,
she didn't get out much.
Even the night before I went to get my O-level results, don't know whether you know this, but me and my friend Katie and my sister Caroline, we went to watch this at the cinema because we needed something to do to keep our minds off our results. I know, it was nerve-wracking.
Wild.
And it's a very, very long film.
It's a very long book.
So we knew that we would be going to bed late, etc., etc. So yeah, so I've got, you know, quite a few memories tied up with this novel, and I chose it because I haven't read it since, and I really want to reread it, but at the moment I just don't have the time. When I retire,
she's going to recon with the wind
this might
again.
be the first thing that I reread.
Would that be your first choice of a reread when you retire?
Might be, because it would take me back to my youth.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I read this after Gran died
right.
because it was her favourite book.
Oh,
and so I was like, right. And I went to America and I took it with me. I thought, what better place to read it than America? And I, on one hand, think it's a remarkable piece of fiction. I think people struggle because of the dialects and also some of, again, it's the attitudes, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's very PC.
But you have to read it.
You have to. No, you do. You have to be. Yeah, and you have to put yourself in.
You're not condoning that.
Well, no, but I read. There's a really interesting debate around this where I read books with murders in. Doesn't mean I want to be a murderer. Doesn't mean I agree with murder. And also there's that whole thing about should you read murder as escapism. But I think we read to experience of the periods in history of the people's lives, of the walking in other people's footsteps, be they fictional or whatever. And with this one, I thought there was elements that I found so fascinating about it and the depth that she goes into, but it is about it. What I love about it is it's a story at its heart. It's a big story that tries to talk about lots and lots of different things, sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly.
I think that's really important. I think it's really good to be reminded of how things have changed. You know, I think it's really important to go back and reread things that were written a long time ago.
See, I don't like rereading.
Well, I don't as a rule. I very rarely reread anything. Well, apart from things that I teach, of course, which I reread a lot. But
then I think that's one thing that's amazing about books, isn't it? It's not just about the book. It's what mood you were in, what was going on. It's where you were. It's what you know. If you're sat on a beach having a cocktail, you're gonna have a much better memory of a book that say you were. Oh, I was gonna say reading in the rain in front of a fire. That's actually probably more my favourite way of reading.
Yeah, quite.
But, you know what I mean? It's all about where you are in your brain.
It is.
And I think I found as I was getting towards the end, I was just a bit like, I just want to get this done now. It felt like it was becoming a box to ticks. No?
Box to tick. Box to tick.
Thank you, Mummy. I think it's interesting you want to reread it.
Yeah, I do, because
she's so brilliant though. Scarlett as a character. She's so
fantastic.
infuriating.
She's feisty and she's an anti-heroine in lots of ways. You know,
she is sass.
She reminds me a bit of Becky Sharp in Vanity Fair in a way.
Still not read that. You bought me that once.
Oh, it's wonderful. It really is.
I'm a bit tricky on classics because I think I go through it and think, well, you could have cut that. You could have cut that, but in the time, they had more time for reading, and that was their entertainment more than maybe an episode of Luther, for example.
Quite, yes.
But no, I enjoyed it, and I think as well, it's one of those things where I was also having to deal with the fact that I was enjoying it, but not loving it, and yet because of Gran loving it, I felt like I had to love it, and that is me putting pressure on the book. And also, I think the other bit that I found that I did, I was having a tricky response with. When Mum is talking, it's all in phonetics, and at first I was like, it jarred with me because I was having to get into swing of it, that's me, not the book. But then I was thinking, oh, is this actually PC that it should be like this? And you know what I mean? You overthink sometimes.
I think that's probably quite groundbreaking, isn't it? It'd be interesting to go back and see the first novels that actually try to recreate. It's what she's tried to do is to recreate Mummy's idiolect and modern writers do that. You know, it's become something that we expect of writers.
Marlon James did it with A Brief History of Seven Killings, which from the Booker.
So there we are.
So those are the 5 books that my mum chose off my bookshelves.
I did.
She'll be back quite a few times this year, possibly. She's been in my vlog and everything. But we're going to go off to the shops now, possibly
We are.
go to a bookshop maybe.
We
Who
might.
can say? We
Might.
might do. Thank you, Mum.
It's been a
And
pleasure.
thank you for
having
finally
me.
doing it.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, you'll probably see her in vlogs and stuff as well, because she's planning on coming to all sorts of events with me this year, whether I invite her or
Gate
not.
crashing.
There we go. So, but thanks, Mum. If you want to check out any of the previous videos in this series, I'll link those down below, and also the books. And I will see you in my next video. It's bye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Bye.
Bye.